Do you want your business to grow faster? Are you open to new and out-of-the-box ways to drive revenues and increase value? How do you imagine the most successful entrepreneurs and business leaders double, triple, or expand their businesses tenfold or more? The answer is deals. This is a weekly podcast featuring conversations with business owners, executives, and leaders as we reveal behind-the-scenes details that give you, our listeners, the confidence to pursue your own deal-driven growth. On the show, we discuss a huge variety of deals, everything from large, complex mergers and acquisitions to smaller deals that you can do even without significant capital. My name is Corey Kupfer, and I've been supporting deal-driven growth for businesses for 35 years as a successful entrepreneur, professional negotiator, and attorney. My goal is to help you strategize, plan for, find, and complete deals that will help your company grow faster. Welcome to the Deal Quest podcast. Let's get started. Hey folks, Corey Kupfer here with another solo cast. This is one of these little mini casts in the series that we've been doing on how to find deals and the mindset of a deal maker and these things around these little shifts and opportunities around deals. Part of our little solo cast here, and also part of our little course we put together. So this is on how to close deals. So what are the important things in getting deals closed? And when I say closed, obviously, there are, legal steps and other steps that, mechanically you have to do. But there's also that sort of ability as an entrepreneur to move a deal from having found it, having the initial negotiations, going to LOI, letter of intent, memo, MOU, memo of understanding, whatever term sheet, whatever you're going to call it, and then actually getting it from there, getting through the due diligence, of course, which we've talked, we talked about previously in other episodes, and then, but actually getting it to close. So let me start out by talking about basically how you don't do that well, okay? And one of the first mistakes that people do that hurts them in getting a deal closed is that they mentally get to the point where the deal's already closed in their mind even before it's closed. Now, why does that hurt? Well, because what could happen is if you think that at the point you've signed the deal's already closed, you're not going to necessarily focus on the things that you have to do to make sure it gets closed. Like, for example, making sure your due diligence is clean, that there's nothing that's going to come up that the other side will find that could blow the deal. Not keeping your eye on the pace and moving the deal forward and holding your professionals accountable and providing the information on time and reviewing the agreements with your attorneys and the financials with your accountants and putting effort into it, right? If you're already checked out because you think the deal's done, if you start spending the money in your mind, I've talked about this on some of the previous episodes, it's the biggest mistake you can make, because then either maybe you will actually get the deal closed, but could turn out to be a bad deal because the other side renegotiates some terms. They see that you really want to get the deal done no matter what. Maybe there's some change. Maybe there's some things they find in due diligence and now they're squeezing you down on price. Or you don't get the deal done because you've lost focus and because you've lost pace and because you're not still hungry to get it done. So the first thing I would say is the deal's not closed till it's closed. Take that attitude, stay focused on it, work with your team to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, that you're responding to information requests, that your due diligence is clean, that you're available to talk through some of the inevitable issues that sometimes come up in deals and work them through and get, and that will help get them to close. The other thing, which is sort of, I'm going to move way back, is one of the best ways to make sure deals get closed is actually to do a lot of prep up front, right? I've talked on prior episodes about this concept of pre-due diligence, right? And we help clients with that. And I think any good professional does. So we know what kind of due diligence a buyer is going to want. Let's say somebody's making an investment into your company. We know what kind of due diligence an investor, right? An angel investor, a VC firm, whatever it is, is going to want. We know what they're going to want to look at. We want to make sure that you're prepared, fully prepared, looking great up front. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because that's really the pre-due diligence and the due diligence. But frankly, that's one of the best things you can do to make sure the deal closes, because a lot of deals fall apart in the due diligence phase because people haven't done it and you're never going to get to the close. Let's take a break from the show for a minute so I can invite you to a new way to determine your deal readiness. I created a fast and easy assessment that will determine exactly how deal ready you are. Once you complete the assessment, I use your responses to identify the obstacles that are holding you back from being a deal-driven growth genius. It's as easy as heading to coreykupfer.com/assessment. That's coreykupfer.com/assessment.
and filling out a few multiple choice questions. I'll be checking in after the episode to see what your results are. Now back to the show.
The other thing, and this is a fundamental negotiating principle that I talk about in my Authentic Negotiating book. I talk about this true bottom line. I talk about getting total clarity on exactly what's acceptable and what's not to you. And the reason why that prep up front helps deals close is that, again, if things shift, if the economy changes, if the due diligence shows issues and things, or if there's things that just weren't anticipated, a key employee leaves during that time, or you lose a client, or things that could adversely affect the deal. If you don't know your true bottom line, if you're not really clear on your objectives and what will make a deal go and not go, it's easy for those kind of things to derail it and have it never get to closing. So in the biggest topic, preparation up front, clarity and preparation up front is the best thing you can do to close a deal. The other piece that I will tell you as you get further along is, watch out for your ego and watch out for your attachment, right? On both sides. If the other side is bringing up issues as you get close to a deal that could affect the closing, you want to be in a very clear place to analyze whether those things will work for you or not, right? Not get triggered because they're trying to renegotiate the deal. Although, one of the things you want to look at is, does that show something about their character? Can you trust them, especially if they're going to be ongoing partners in some sort of deal where you're doing a joint venture, a strategic alliance, or a true merger of your companies and you're staying on? I'm not saying that's not a factor, but sometimes people just get tired or frustrated, or their ego kicks up, or judgmental, or they're attached to it looking a certain way, and it starts to look different, and they blow the deal late, before closing, not because it's a bad deal or not because it doesn't align with their ultimate objectives on what they got clear on, but because they get triggered. And, you want to keep your emotion out of it. You want to trust your gut. I'm not saying, there are times when signals come that say, you figure out it's not the right partner. Hopefully not at the last minute. Hopefully you figure that out earlier. But, it's possible that something comes up that rubs you the wrong way from a real clear-headed place. But, if you're triggered, if you're emotional, if you're upset, if you're insulted, you don't want to look at whether you really want to have that blow, a deal that could be otherwise very good for you or lucrative for you. So watch your emotions, watch your reactions, try to make sure you're being clear-headed there. The other thing is, you really want to make sure that anybody that's relevant on your team and or on the team on the other side is aligned, because I've seen deals not go to closing because the main principals think they have it aligned, but then they go out to some key employees or minority owners or the money guys or whatever, so to speak. And, what they expect buy-in, they expect alignment, and then it doesn't come. And that could adversely affect getting the deal closed. So there's always a balance between the decision of when you let other people in your organization or when your counterpart lets other people in their company in on the deal. The balance between confidentiality, not, especially let's say you're selling your company, not being in play, in the marketplace, not having employees get spooked. And the fact that if you bring key folks in that could adversely affect the deal too late and you miscalculate their ability to buy in, it could affect the ability to close the deal at a last minute. So listen, there are probably 100 other things we could talk about in terms of getting deals closed. But, in this short overview, solo cast, I just want to hit some of the big ones. So, prep, keep your emotions in check, keep your eye on the ball, make strategic decisions on when to bring in the key stakeholders and personnel and make sure that they're aligned. You trust your gut, but don't let triggering emotions adversely affect it. And then, work well with your team and professionals to keep the pace of the deal going so that you don't lose a deal because people either lose interest or just the momentum dies down. So those are some thoughts on getting deals closed, folks. You definitely will hear more if you listen to the various episodes I've had with guests, on that topic as well. And appreciate your Deal Quest community. See you next week.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Deal Quest, where we help you understand how deal-driven growth can be your ticket to freedom. I want to invite you to a unique way to tap into the wisdom and experience of the Deal Quest community. Join the Deal Quest Deal Den Zoom calls, a free monthly 90-minute mastermind. In the mastermind, we address all the challenges you may be facing and help support you with the opportunities that may arise in terms of deal-driven growth. You will get input not only from me, but all the members on the call will collaborate and serve each other in a mastermind format. To sign up for the free mastermind, go to www.corykupfer.com/dealden. That's corykupfer.com/dealden. I'll see you there. I'm Corey Kupfer. Until next week, wishing you the freedom and financial prosperity that I know your Deal Quest will bring.